the question is, how long did it take to get to a point where the disruptions and uncomfortable things that would arise, how long did it take before they didn't bother me, right? Is that essentially the question?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
that.
I would say it didn't happen. It took practice. It took time. I don't know the exact timeline, but the more you practice, the better you get at it. Okay, so and the difference between someone who is not practicing, it doesn't have a tool to dissipate this anxious and whatever disruptive energy, whether it's anger or sadness. The difference is when you don't have the tools to clear it out, you hold on to it, and it becomes more of a distraction because you're constantly thinking about it. So everyone feels that way when the things occur. I still feel that too. The difference is I let it go very quickly now. And it to varying degrees still. Um, Still some things take more time to let go, you know. Um, but the more you meditate, the less attached you become to those feelings, especially if you're aware that this thing is distracting me. I need to put it down and actively try and let go of that feeling, So I've had things where um, something happened, it made me upset, and right away I was angry about it, and I could feel it interfering with the things I was trying to do that were productive in my life. I would be trying to make art, and I would be feeling angry about something that's not there. So that what you have to realize is, say someone made me angry. Now I'm trying to do something I love, my art, and they're still making me angry. They're still controlling me, even though they're not even here. So you don't want to give that power to anybody or anything. If it's not, you don't want to give it more power than it has. So you just kind of want to let that go as soon as possible and recognize that's the most healthy thing that you can do. Holding on to it is like holding on to poison. You want to let it out of your system. And it's a lot of times it's easier said than done, but yeah, just keep practicing. And then the key for me is I know that I do this practice every day, and it slowly diminishes any feelings and anxiety, sadness. It starts to make those things go away and become having less and less of an effect on my life. So I've learned that by putting that routine into my day, every day I'm going to have some point, no matter how wound up I am, that I'm pushing all of that stuff out of my mind and clearing my mind out and letting it reset again. So I think when you start to get a routine is when you'll notice the biggest differences, because you're no longer, relying on your ability to remember to meditate. You've built it into your day. And it's kind of like, I might have said this in the talk, but I think I did say, when something happens, it's almost like if you haven't been practicing, it's too late, because you haven't learned to trust these tools. You don't know that, like, you haven't associated that this is the thing that's going to make you feel better. So our natural tendency is to just let our thoughts, is to kind of contemplate the situation because we think we can find out the solution. But oftentimes there's a limit to what that can do, and you're better just to put it down. And then sometimes, you'll have a fresh idea of how to address the situation after the fact. After you've meditated, you might have a better idea a better approach to the situation. But that's what I've learned through meditating. You know, there were certain days where something would happen at the temple or something like that. Someone would make me upset, and I would be upset all night until the next day when I meditated, and then I would feel better afterwards. But I had that, I always had that coming up, even though, you know, maybe even in the moment, I couldn't make myself meditate because I was so wound up. But the next day, I knew I had made this commitment to myself to do that every day. And so when I did that, even if I wasn't trying to make myself feel better, it made me feel better. So that's kind of the idea of what I'm trying to put forward in this talk tonight.